All right. So in this video, I'm going to try to talk about hooking up a ventilation system or an air cleaning system or something if you have a 3D printer, right? Because we all know, 3D printers, they can handle different polymers. They're dealing with high heat to melt these polymers down, during operation. And some of these filaments, especially like ABS and ASA, you can smell the fumes, right? Others, these filaments are at a melting point. They're putting off fumes. Some are putting off particulates and odors. And the more printers you have, the more you will see it, right? If you have a small print farm building up, you can walk around, you can feel stuff, you can feel it settling everywhere. Sometimes when you're printing, it's the fumes. Sometimes it'll make your eyes burn. When you've got to do something about that, right? So there are a few different ways that you can clean the air and ventilate the system, ventilate the room, or in your home or office, wherever you have these things set up. And one of the basic ways is just having a fan and an open window, an open door or something, and let it vent out. It's kind of basic, but it's kind of like in your garage, when you're working on your cars or and you're trying to ventilate and get all the exhaust, the car exhaust out of the garage and stuff like that. It's that basic. It'll help a little, I'd recommend a lot further, but it'll work, right? Another way in your home or office, you can have an air cleaning unit, and these things are a standalone unit. They can sit there, by a window or by your printers, and they come in different sizes, right? Depending on how big your room is, the square footage. Some are small enough where you're just looking at 100 square feet, 10 by 10 room, and others up to who knows? Do they do it 1,000 square foot or whatever? But it all depends on the size, and that's how they're rated. And usually the larger they are, the larger room that you can handle. And all it is, it's just circulating the air. So depending on the size of your room and the size of the air cleaner, it'll move so many cubic inches of air, through it per hour or per day or whatever, right? And that will help. That'll help clean the air out. It'll help clean the air that's in the room. And a lot of these are HEPA filters, and they do a really good job. And of course, you can always do both, right? You can have an air cleaner, plus you can have like your ceiling fan or another fan in the room that's circulating air in the room, not letting everything settle. And then have a window, a fan out by the window that's just sucking all the air out, right? And you can do both of those. And of course, there's other options, kind of like, and this will help if you have 3D printers that are not enclosed. They're just, it's just an open air printer, and you just got to move that air. Some printers out there are enclosed, and that's for a reason, for different reasons, right? Like these two back here, they're both enclosed, but I print a lot with ASA, and it does let off some fumes. You can smell it, right? If I'm not piping the air out, and I can tell inside the enclosure, I'm having to clean it. Say if like this one I'm using ASA a lot, and this other one I'm only doing PLA or PETG or something. Well, I'm having to do a lot more maintenance on the ASA printer, cleaning the inside out and cleaning the rods, cleaning the just everything internally, right? Because all that stuff just settles in and you can see it on the glass, on the inside of the glass. But it's not just for that. I mean, a lot of printers, like the enclosed ones like this, you know, I really needed it to have a heated container. You know, have it heated inside, keep the temperature up to a certain level, and it just serves its purpose. You know what I mean? Now with these enclosed printers, like the Bamboo Lab ones here, they actually have a fan that will suck the air out of the rear of it, right? And there's a carbon activated filter in there, and it helps filter that air out. Could be a little better if you ask me, but it does a little bit, right? You can have these little, you know, carbon activated filters in there, and I think I've seen on printables, there's a guy that he has made some also that you can just drop inside the cavity, and it'll help filter out the air inside the enclosure. So with these two printers behind me, and I'll show you, it has that fan that's pushing the air out of the rear. Well, I put adapters on those, and I have air ducts, the duct hose, you know, and I have them connected on the rear, and it goes out the window. And there's an external fan and everything, so that it's blowing that air out. So, and it is a huge help. You know, I don't smell anything when I'm printing off these things anymore, because I'm piping it all outside, right? Yeah, so I guess it's, if you can picture, it's kind of like a wood shop, right? Where you have all the fans and the ducts and everything, where it's collecting all the sawdust and depositing it into like a shop vac or something. Well, it's sucking it all out, and it's piping the air outside. Well, let me show you how I'm setting this up. All right, so you can see these are adapters that are magnetic, and I designed to fit on the X1 and the P1P. You know, it has a metal back on them. So instead of screwing them on, you can do it that way, but I decided to go magnetic. Now, I do have these available on printables, and now on Maker World, but of course with no magnets, right? You'll just have to get those on your own. But you can see this adapter and the one that's on that I have posted, it's fit for a 3-inch duct, and you can see it, this one's a 3-inch, but you can also go with a 4-inch. Those are the common sizes. It's like a clothes dryer duct, right? So it's just readily available. And you can see I have these spaced off so that they fit behind the printers, the X1 and the P1P, and then this end will be going off to the blower fan. And like I said, here's the setup. So this one is going to the P1, that one's going to the X1, and this one will be going, I'll put that on and it'll be going to the blower. And make sure that you get these on good and tight. You don't want them to slip off while you're installing it back there behind the printers, you know. But this is kind of why I like laying it out here, you know, to assemble it. It's easier to work with. So here's the blower that we're using, and you can see it's a 4-inch design. So you know, the ports in and out are 4-inch. So I designed this Y adapter, and I printed it in red just because I had a lot of it, But you can see this 4-inch, it slips right on, and then we'll have 2 ports, and you can see it's going into this window here. Now this window's plexiglass, so we were able to cut right into it, and the blower fits right on, right there. And we'll have a hose going this way and a hose going that way, because we got to have a hose going to this laser cutter here. And I used to have the X1 here, but I ended up moving it over here with the P1P. So we'll have a duct going this way to both of those printers, and a duct going to the laser printer, and the port back there on the side, and whatever else we decide to put here. It'll hook right on. Okay, so here is the hose, and I have them going to both printers. You can see the magnets are holding it on, and you can see the gap here. I left plenty of room for clearance between the wall and on the printers, and that's for not only the ducts, but for power cables, and you got to have room so that you can still get to the poop chutes, right? So yeah, so back here you just got to make sure you leave plenty of room behind these bamboo printers. You got to have access to all the controls and whatnot, especially the poop chute. Well, there's semi-finished. I mean, it does look kind of crappy. I'm going to reprint these, do them all in black, get matching hose. I mean, I want it to look a little better. And I think I want to move this blower motor down on the sill and mount it down there, so it'll be kind of out of the way. But that's it. So those two are now hooked up. So like I said, with these 2 printers back here, both of those have the built-in, carbon activated filters in them. But you can also put the filters on your hoses, right? And put a little filter, say between the blower and the window, so that it'll, a HEPA filter or something, so it'll help just clean the air before it's pushed all the way out, right? One thing, if it's in your own home or in your place of business, you could probably hook up, I guess, an exhaust fan like you have in your bathrooms, right? You can flick it on and everything's sucked up. That would be great. I mean, a little more work involved to make that happen, but it's kind of the same thing we're doing here. We can have a blower mounted by the window here, just like I'm doing, and have air moving around outside. But you see the point. You're just trying to move air out. But you can also do it with the bathroom and just turn it on and off with your lights, and suck all the air out. Just when you're setting up the system, just be sure to keep in mind the basic points, right? It's good to have the air circulating inside and then a way to get it out of the room. You can have an air cleaner and filter out different particulates, fumes, odors, stuff like that. It's kind of like a paint room, right? You can wear a mask if you want, during certain deals. If you're gluing things together or post-processing, painting and stuff like that, you can wear a mask. Or you can have the air filtered, just like in a paint booth, right? Because it's the same stuff. You're just trying to get all that the fumes and everything out of there. It's kind of, and what else can I compare it to? It's kind of like an existing machine shop or a wood shop or a garage or anything like that. See how they're set up. And you can also think of it this way. Okay, you're setting up a mini factory in your home or in your garage or in a big factory. Look up the OSHA rules, right? Have you ever set up operations to meet OSHA guidelines before? You need to have everything placed and marked off. Danger zones you have for all your paints and glues and any solvents. They're kept in one place. They could be in a cabinet, but you also have MSDS, material safety data sheets, there at either the cabinet or into your room. Say if you have a paint room, and you have it there at the entrance of the room, so that if anything happens, everything is set aside, and if anything happens, you know where that MSDS is, so that you'll know what to do. You can look it up, say, okay, flush eyes out. Is it getting your mouth? Do you need to drink a lot of water? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. That's what the MSDS is for, material safety data sheets. And these printers, you can see, you're dealing with a lot of heating elements, right? You have the printers putting off heat, you have the extruders, you have the beds, the heated beds, you've got filament dryers, and some of them are at very, very high temperatures, right? And if you have a room full of these things, it's good to have a fire extinguisher, right? So keep one or two of these handy. And when you set it up somewhere, I'm going to have one up on the rack. I'll probably put one maybe back here on this other bench next to the laser cutter. That's a good place to have one also. And when you mount it somewhere, you have it flagged. Say if you have it by a pole, the pole needs to be red, right? So from a distance, you know where that fire extinguisher is, right? So it all makes sense, but when it comes down to it, you really, really got to keep your air clean and start thinking about the air quality you're breathing in and out. It seems to be a neglected issue, but these conditions have been around forever. Like I said, in other machine shops, in paint booths, working on brakes, just anything, these particulates and fumes and odors are nothing new. So don't ignore it, right? But these are a few good ways, a few easy ways to do it. This one works fantastic. I've had this one when I very first got the X1 carbon. I set it next to the laser cutter, and we had it all piped out from there going out, and it worked great. It sucked all the fumes from the burning wood, all the fumes from the ASA, everything. It's outside now. So I guess that is it. A lot of these adapters, like I said, some of them are on printables, and the same ones are on Maker World now. And I just, I don't include magnets, of course, but if you want to print these off yourself, I give the size of the magnets. You can order them yourself, or I can even have the set of Y adapters and T adapters and all the different sizes and stuff. I'll have that on my website, so if you want to buy the complete unit with the magnets already in it and everything, it'll be there. It'll be available to you. So, well, I guess that is it for this video. So, as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.